Oh, we have some joiners here. Hey, I understand we have a couple birthdays in the house. We have Paul's birthday right here. Happy birthday, Paul. Evelyn, is it your birthday too? Happy birthday. And then there's another young lady here named, is it Beverly?
Yes.
Happy birthday, Beverly. Happy birthday. Thanks for coming out tonight. And Paul, I just want to let you know that I have your AARP card in my pocket, and you can pick it up after the show.
Are you single?
Yes, I am. I'm single. I have no debt. Okay. And you think I could meet a guy in this town? Let me tell you about loser number 59 from Crema Friday afternoon. Okay. Honest to God, you're on Match.com. You need to go to the Manscapes Makeover Studio, like, right now. You have food in your teeth, you're late, and you don't offer to buy me a cup of coffee, well, you can send your sweet ass down the road. And then I see him 4 hours later, true story, at the Holiday Inn, shaved and brushed his teeth. I'm like, you are, and you wonder why you can't meet anyone. It's interesting, but life is good. I'm here, and I'm going to tell a few more jokes, and I got another couple stories for you. There was this nun running through the streets of Chicago, flagging down a cab, and the cab driver stops, and the nun gets in the cab and shuts the door, and the cab driver says, "Where are you going, sister?" And she said, "I'm going to 5th and Broadway." So they start cruising along, and the nun keeps looking at the cab driver in the rearview mirror, and the cab driver says, "Is there something wrong, sister?" And she said, "No. Is there something, what's up with you, cab driver?" And he said, "Well, I've always wanted to kiss a nun." And the nun says, "Well, that's fine, but you have to be single and you have to be Catholic. That's just the way it is." And the cab driver's driving along, and he's like, "Well, I'm single, I'm Catholic." "Okay, well, pull over." So he pulls over in this alley and kisses the nun, and she's like, "Well, get back. I need to get back to the convent right now. We got to get going. I'm a nun, and you're a cab driver. This is not going to work anyway." So he keeps driving, and the cab driver keeps looking at the nun in the rearview mirror, and the nun says, "Well, what's going on? You keep looking at me." He says, "Well, I have a confession to make. I'm not single, and I'm not Catholic." And the nun goes, "Well, I have a confession to make too. I'm not a nun. My name's Paul, and I'm going to a Halloween party." Stuff like that happens in big cities. You see that guy? Nun on the run. Back in the habit. I was down at the beach over Memorial Day weekend, and there was this guy hanging out there, and he had nothing on but a straw hat over his unit. And I'm sitting there, reading my magazine and minding my own business, having a couple Jello shots, and this woman comes along and says, "Well, gee, if you were a gentleman, you'd take that off." And he says, "Well, if you weren't so ugly, it would lift itself." True story. And then, like a week ago, I see this woman running down Front Street. She's like, I don't know, 90, 80 some years old, running down Front Street, no underwear, big bloomy dress. She's got this hat on. The dress is blowing over her head. She has no underwear on, and she's holding onto her hat, running down the street. And this guy says, "Oh my God, lady, your dress is over your head. You're hanging onto your hat. You don't have any bloomers on or anything." And she says, "Well, this is down here is 87 years old, and my hat's brand new, so that's what I'm doing." I love Traverse City. There's all kinds of fun to be made. How about those bumper stickers you see around now? Honk if you love Jesus. Text if you want to meet him. I love that one. Or my favorite is, if it has tires or testicles, you're bound to have trouble with it. Of course, people say don't talk like that because what you think about, you bring about, but I happen to think it's quite hysterical. So, I also have another cute joke. These two women were sitting on their porch, Edith and Vivian. They're like in their 80s, and they don't have much longer to live. And they're reminiscing about the days when they played baseball and softball, and Edith says to Vivian, I just hope when we go to heaven that there's lots of picnics and sunshiny days and clouds and baseball. And Vivian says, I hope so too. We have such fond memories of that, and I think heaven would just be awesome if we played softball again. Well, about a week later, Vivian dies and goes to heaven, and Edith is just heartbroken, and she's laying in her bed, and she's thinking about Vivian and how much she misses her. And a couple days later, she's laying in bed again. She's trying to fall asleep, and this bright light comes down in her bedroom, and she's going, oh my God, what's going on? And she says, Edith, it's Vivian. What? It's Vivian. Yeah, I'm up in heaven. I've got some good news and some bad news. Well, what's the good news? Well, I'm up in heaven, and we're playing softball, and we're having fun, and we're going to picnics, and it's so beautiful, and everyone's here from our team. And she said, well, what's the bad news? And she says, you're pitching on Tuesday. That's a nice Marty clean joke. Yeah. I gotta tell you about, oh, here comes some people. Hello. Hi, Hank.
Morning, Marty.
How about those beach bums?
How about those beach bums? They started their season last week. I found this really awesome bra at PetSmart. I bet you didn't know that they sold bras there.
No.
They sell bras at PetSmart. It took my setters to pointers like within 5 minutes. I love this thing. It is awesome. It is. It's hard to find a bra when you're wound out, so, I'll take what I can get. Oh, I have to tell you guys about Pancho Villa, too. Do you guys know about Pancho Villa? Pancho Villa. Everyone asks me if I know Pancho Villa, so this is like a joke that's long and funny, and it takes a special gift to tell it. So, you ask me if I know Pancho Villa.
Do you know Pancho Villa?
Last week I'm riding my horse in the desert. I see Pancho Villa. He has this great big gun. All I have is my little bitty pistol. He points it at me and he says, take off all your clothes. Well, I did not want to take off all my clothes. So what can I do? All I have is this little bitty pistol. Pancho Villa has this great big gun. So I take off all my clothes. I'm sitting there, stark naked in the desert with Pancho Villa, my horse. He says, okay, now I want you to sheet. Well, I did not have to sheet. What can I do? Pancho Villa pointing his gun at me. All I have is this little bitty ass pistol, so I sheet. Pancho Villa could not believe it. He says, okay, now you eat it. Oh, I was totally disgusted, but what could I do? Little bitty pistol, great big gun, pointing in my face, so I eat it. Oh, Pancho Villa, he can't believe what he sees. Pancho Villa, laughing so hard, falls off his horse. Not paying attention, I grab his great big gun. I have his gun, I have my little bitty pistol, I'm pointing at his face. I said, okay, Pancho Villa, it's your turn. I point, great big gun, little bitty pistol in his face. I said, okay, Pancho Villa, you take off all your clothes. And Pancho Villa, he did not want to take off all his clothes. What can he do? I have a little bitty pistol, great big gun pointing at his face. So I said, take off all your clothes. Pancho Villa takes off all his clothes. He's sitting there. I have great big gun, little bitty pistol. I said, okay, now you sheet. Pancho Villa? Well, he did not have to sheet, but he had no choice at this point. A great big gun, little bitty pistol, pointing in his face. So he sheet. I said, okay, Pancho, you have a great big gun, a little bitty pistol pointing at your face. Now that you sheet, you eat it, see how you like it. Pancho Villa did not want to eat it. What can he do? I have a great big gun, little bitty pistol. So he eat it. So you asked me if I know Pancho Villa. I know Pancho Villa. We had lunch together last week.